Don't move abroad if this is you. So I'm sure there are many videos on YouTube. In fact, I know for certain there are plenty of videos explaining why you should move abroad, why you should make that jump, why you should book those flights, how it's an enriching experience, and how you'll go out there and find yourself. In fact, I've made some of those videos myself. Some of my previous videos are how to move abroad, why you should move abroad, and all of that good stuff. But there are two sides to every story. Two sides to every coin. Life is not a bowl of peaches. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the reverse of those things and some of the reasons or some of the situations you might be in that would mean that you should not move abroad. Hi, my name's Ben. I've been living abroad for the last 5 years, and in this video, we're going to look at some of the reasons why you should not move abroad. And the first one is, don't move abroad if you have a good job in your home country that you're satisfied with. If you have a good job already in your home country that pays well, has good benefits, you find rewarding, but you also have an adventurous spirit and you want to move and start again in a different country, well, don't do it, or at least reflect on your decision for a little while. Building a career in a foreign country is not easy at all, and you may find it takes decades to reach the same level that you're already at. You may also find that the benefits you receive currently in your home country will never be matched, even at the top end of the corporate ladder in another country. On top of that, many foreign countries have restrictions on the job market to foreign nationals who want to move to the country. So you may find it not only extremely difficult, you might actually find it impossible to find work in your current industry. That's why if you already have a job that you're happy with, if you've spent a long time building a career that pays you well, has great benefits, and is rewarding, is it really worth it to throw all that away just to move to a different country and have to start at the bottom of the corporate ladder once again? That's going to be a question that only you can answer. Perhaps instead you could use your holiday or vacation time to scratch your adventurous itch. Maybe you're in a position where you could negotiate remote work with your employer and get a few months working remotely each year. Maybe that could be enough. Maybe those couple of months abroad once again could be enough for you, and you would find that rewarding enough that you don't need to quit everything, throw everything away and start from scratch in a different country. Or perhaps you're getting closer to that retirement age and perhaps you could hang on for a few more years, reap the rewards of continuing to work in your home country, and then once you've retired, move abroad to a foreign country, because lots of countries have very good retirement visas that would be on offer for you potentially. So perhaps those are better solutions for you than throwing everything away and trying to start again from scratch, because I think you would find that very difficult. This is one situation where I actually wouldn't encourage you to move abroad at all. One of the hardest things about living in a foreign country is sort of getting work and keeping work, especially in a country like this country where I live, where the job market is heavily restricted to foreign nationals. It can be extremely tricky, can be somewhat frustrating, and it can be also sometimes and in some instances absolutely impossible to work in certain industries and progress in jobs. So if you have a business, if you have a job that you actually really enjoy and it pays really well, has great benefits, then really do think twice, if not 3 times, before throwing all that away and running off to live abroad. So don't move abroad if you have a well-paying job with great benefits. Don't throw all that away just to move to another country and start again from scratch. Also, don't move abroad if you have a low stress tolerance or you suffer from anxiety. Moving abroad comes with a ton of risk, and also you will probably find yourself in very stressful situations on a day-to-day basis. In a country where you don't speak the language, it has an entirely different alphabet. Obviously, you should expect these things, but you may not expect that it makes day-to-day routine sort of things you have to do extremely stressful and very difficult. Something like taking a bus, for example, can be very difficult, very challenging when you can't communicate to the people who operate the bus, when you can't read the script, when you can't check where the bus is going because you don't read the language that it's written in. This can become a very stressful, a very difficult thing that you may have to do on a daily basis. Obviously, you would start to get used to it, probably start to recognize other things, but you may not even at first recognize the transportation system itself, what routes it's taking, where you can stop it, all that kind of thing. In the country where I live, there aren't necessarily bus stops. What you have to do is communicate with someone who operates the bus to stop the bus for you. You have to then like recognize which bus is yours, all those kind of things, and it's very difficult, and especially even if you have a basic level of language skills in the country you're living, you know, communicating on those kind of detailed things can be very tricky indeed. So you're going to be feeling stress even when you're taking the bus. Even when you go to the supermarket, you can find stressful situations that you weren't expecting. So people with a low stress tolerance that could be completely overwhelmed moving to a foreign country where you don't even recognize the things that should be pretty routine, that should be basic, that would be very routine in your home country. But yeah, it can be extremely stressful, especially at first. So if you don't have risk tolerance at all, then you may find moving to a different country too much. If you have a low risk tolerance, if you have anxiety, or if you suffer from stress disorders, then quitting your job, flying halfway around the world, leaving everything you know, everything you understand, everyone you love behind, obviously probably will be a bit too much. It might even be detrimental to your overall well-being. So yeah, moving to a different country may not be for you. Maybe you are able to take steps to mitigate some of these risks and reduce some of these stressful situations. Maybe perhaps you could travel with a friend. Maybe this would help you a great deal in overcoming some of these stressful situations and reducing your overall anxiety about the situation. So that could be an option for you. Maybe you could visit the country you're planning to live to. Maybe you could visit as a tourist a few times before you move permanently. Perhaps this is something that could ease you into the situation as opposed to like cannonballing straight into the situation. So maybe that could be an option for you. Maybe there are a few routes to take. Maybe you're moving to a different country to challenge yourself. Maybe this is something that you want to do. Maybe you want to battle with your anxieties and your stress and become a braver person. You know, that's very commendable if that is true, and it could also potentially work, I imagine. But having said all that, moving to a different country, leaving everything you know and love behind, obviously it's still going to be an extremely stressful situation. It's going to be a very anxiety-ridden journey to take. So just bear that in mind. If you do have a low risk tolerance, if you do suffer from like anxiety, then this is going to be a massive challenge for you. All right, and finally, don't move abroad if you're running away from your problems. This is something you do actually see a fair bit, and it never ever works out. You can't just run away from your problems. Those type of things always have a way of catching up with you. It is actually surprising how many people you meet who seem to have reasons for moving out here as to be escaping something, running away from something, whether it's debt, whether it's a bad situation, or whether it's something else. A lot of people are sort of moving, running away, and they're actually running away from something. Like I mentioned, those problems always have a tendency to catch up with you, and if they don't, the behavior that caused those initial problems that you're trying to run away from, that behavior often continues and now causes problems in your new current location. If you are considering moving to a different country to run away from problems, to get out of a bad situation, I would strongly recommend that you try to resolve that situation, try to resolve those problems if that's at all possible. Once some kind of resolution has been met or found, then reconsider, do you still want to move to a different country? So yeah, make sure you're moving for the right reasons. Don't move away if you're simply running away from problems or running away from situations. That scenario never seems to work out that well. So that's why you shouldn't move abroad. If you want to know why you should move abroad, then click the video over here. There should be a video right here. Click that video if you want to know why you should move abroad.